Hello everybody, welcome to this third lecture of the Thalasic Academy. And today we are going to talk about very infamous topic. Anybody who is enrolled or studying the natural sciences, environmental sciences or oceanography and to the extent geology, they might have heard about Sir Alfred Wegener. Alfred Wegener and his theory of, you are right, continental drift. So for today our topic will be Sir Alfred Wegener and his theory of the continental drift. Now first we'll see what this word continental drift means. As the name suggests, my continents, as you can see right side on this map, these all blue marked are my continents, okay, and the white space is the global ocean, okay. So continents, when they drift is known as continental drift. That means when our continents move over the, you can say move along in the ocean, or in a more detailed sense on the surface of earth, when the continents move, okay, just above the mantle, when the tectonic plates move, is known as continental drift, okay. So this theory was proposed by Sir Alfred Wegener, but the glitch is this: Alfred Wegener was not the first one to propose this theory. The thing is, in 1620 there was also a scientist named Sir Francis Bacon. Now Sir Francis Bacon first termed the puzzle fit of continent, which later became the first theory of continental drift, or the first proof of continental drift. Now he proposed this puzzle fit of continent. Now in this puzzle fit he proposed that, like, we can see this side of Southern America, okay, and we can see this side of Africa. That means eastern coast of Southern America and western coast of Africa. We see there is a similar pattern between them, as if they are a puzzle piece, okay. So in 1620, Sir David Bacon suggested that this type of pattern I am noticing, so there is a chance that these continents at one time of our geological history were together, okay. But when he proposed this theory, he was ridiculed, he was laughed upon, okay. He was laughed that you are an old man, what are you saying, you don't know what we are saying. So he just proposed this puzzle fit of continent, and then nothing happened. This controversy sparked again when in 1912 Sir Alfred Wegener again said that the theory is right, that the continents have drifted, and he also gave some postulates to prove that continents have drifted, okay. But the thing is, again the Sir Alfred Wegener was ridiculed by the scientific community. He became a pariah of the scientific community, okay. So now we'll talk about Alfred Wegener and what he proposed his theory as continental drift, okay. So we will see what postulates did Alfred Wegener proposed, okay. So the theory, as you know, as I have told you, came in 1912. So the Alfred Wegener's first postulate was the puzzle fit of continent, okay, of continents. Now it is the same postulate what Sir David Bacon has proposed, but he proposed it in a more detailed and logical manner, okay, detailed and logical manner. See, what happens is, Sir Alfred Wegener was a meteorologist and a geophysicist. Okay, so when a different person from a different field comes in your field or studies in your field, he brings a new perspective. Same thing Sir Alfred Wegener has done. He brought his meteorology, geology and geophysics perspective into oceanography and other environmental sciences. That's why he excelled that much. So how he proposed this in a detailed and a logical manner, we can see he also said that this part of the Southern America and this part of Africa is a puzzle fit. Okay, he also said that this is a puzzle fit, but he also said that other parts in the world are also an puzzle fit. For that he gave a theory called matching of rock sequence. Okay, in this matching of rock sequence, what he proposed is, let's say I am taking this part of the coast which I have darkened, this part of the coast, and this part of African coast. Let's name this one, let's name this two. So he said, Alfred Wegener said, the rock sequence at point 1 and the rock sequence at point 2, you will find them same. Now by rock sequence, what he meant was rock's age, its texture, the stratigraphy. We'll study stratigraphy later in detail. Okay, the stratigraphy, the sedimentation and the chemical composition. So he said, what all continents are puzzle fitting, their rock sequence will also match, which is a geological detail which Sir Francis Bacon have not given. And to prove this theory, prove this rock sequence theory, he also gave example of Appalachian Mountain, Caledonian Mountain and British Isles. So here in Northern America, eastern side of Northern America, here where my cursor is, there is Appalachian Mountains. And at this part of western end of Europe, here are British Isles. And in the Scandinavian countries, we can see Caledonian Mountains. This is my Appalachian Mountains, this is my British Isles, this is my Caledonian Mountains. So he said Appalachian Mountains and British Isles and Caledonian Mountain, all three of them have same rock sequence. That means once these all continents were together, okay, and due to continental drift they parted their ways. So he gave this first postulate of matching rock sequence and puzzle fit of continents, and he explained them in a geologically logical way. Okay. Now, if somebody would have asked at that time, Sir Alfred Wegener, how can you say continental drift happen? So secondly, he'll be surely give this example of glacial age. Okay, we can say it glacial age evidences. Okay, now in this, Alfred Wegener questioned one thing, that how can I get the evidences hash fossils of glacial age in tropical and temperate countries. So he asked this question to himself and the scientific community. Now if you see the below image of the world map, this is my equator. So near equator it's the tropical area, and somewhat above here it's the temperate area, and above it is my polar area, and same way in the southern hemisphere. So Sir Alfred Wegener questioned that how can I get evidences of polar ices in the equator and temperate areas. Okay, so he thought of two possible solutions. Okay, we'll see what he thought of as two possible solutions. First, he thought global ice age. Okay, that means there was a time in a geological time scale when entire earth from pole to equator entirely was iced. It was entirely frozen, and entire world suffered ice age or global cooling. Okay, like we are in a global warming phase, there are also phases when there is global cooling and ice age comes. Okay, now the problem he found with this global ice age thing is there are coal deposits. There are coal deposits in some part of Europe, Northern America, and obviously in India. So India is in the tropical zone, and Europe and Northern America share temperate and polar areas. So in the temperate region of these both two countries, there are coal deposit, and coal deposit can only form into warmer environments, and these coal deposit dates back when the global ice age was there, or we can say ice age was there. That means there never have been a global ice age. Equator and entirely temperate zone were never under entire ice. Specifically, equator was never under entire ice. That's why we get good coal deposits near the equator. Okay, so what then Alfred Wegener said, there might be a chance of countries who are in now equator zone could have been near to the polar areas before. That's why we are getting evidences and fossils there. As you can see in the extreme right side, there is image of what we call Pangea. Pangea means when all the continents were a one continent. So you can see here is Antarctica, and here is India, and the peninsular part of India is touched with Antarctica. Okay, that means today's South India and specifically Tamil Nadu was attached once to Antarctica. That's why sediment wise and many other evidences we found in Tamil Nadu related to ice age and polar ice. That is not because of there was once ice age in Tamil Nadu, but Tamil Nadu was once attached to Antarctica, got sediment and fossils from there, and then India drifted apart. It moved towards the Eurasian plate or Eurasia, which you can see also in the image. Then they got separated, and one remained in the polar area and one became an equator country. Okay, once there was a time when India was attached, literally we can't believe it. The temperatures we are having right now in India, it's just ridiculous. But once there was a time when Antarctica and India was completely attached. Okay, so that's how this second postulates also supports Sir Alfred Wegener's theory of continental drift. So the third postulate which Alfred Wegener gave is distribution of the organisms. Okay, that how in the global spectrum species and different type of animals are distributed at that time. Okay, so we can take two case studies. One will do of coral and second will do of dinos. Okay, these two case study will do. First, on the map we'll come and we'll mark this is my equator clearly. This time I used a big map. Around here there is the temperate line, okay, the mid latitude line, and above we all know there is a polar thing. So polar, temperate, and this is my equator line in the mid. Okay. So what my coral theory says is, Alfred Wegener again asks one question: why I find the fossils of coral in high latitude? Okay, for those who don't know, I will tell, coral needs at least 18 degrees Celsius temperature to grow, and in temperature in upper polar regions there is no sustenance of this 80 degree Celsius temperature for a long time. Okay, then how come coral fossils can come there? Okay, now again two possibilities arise. Okay, one is global warming. Okay, and second we'll discuss later. Now problem with the global warming postulate is, firstly, to change that much drastic temperature, as we saw in previous lecture, there is my sun, then there is my earth with a tilt, and the temperature distribution on earth is depending on the 23.5 degree tilt of the earth. Okay, so to change that much drastic temperature, there must be change in axis of the planet. Okay, which historically we have not noticed. Okay, so that much drastic temperature never changed. So what will become my B postulate? B postulate will become those countries, those temperate and polar countries where we are finding corals and their fossils, they once were on equator. As you can see on the smaller map, the Eurasia is near about the equator region. Okay, once it was near to the equator region, and due to continental drift it has moved to higher and higher latitudes, and when the continent move, all the rocks along it moves. Okay, and the fossil will also move. That's why we are finding fossils now in temperate and polar areas also of corals. This was the third postulate of Alfred Wegener, distribution of organisms. Okay, there is one more interesting case of Mesosaurus. Okay, where I can write, okay, I'll write down side Mesosaurus. Okay, in the dino side. So Mesosaurus were present in this part of America. Okay, and they were also present at this part of Africa. Okay, Mesosaurus. So Alfred Wegener said, why they are present at this part of the continent and also this part of the continent. So other geologists, other environmentalists propose that there can be two things: either this my Mesosaurus is a good swimmer, first thing they said. Then Alfred Wegener asked, if they can swim from America to Africa, why cannot they swim from Africa to India, India to Malaysia and other continents? Why only these two? Second thing they have said is, there can be a natural bridge between these two continents and they can cross. Alfred Wegener has said the same thing again, that if America and South Africa or Africa can have a natural bridge, why can't Africa and India can have a natural bridge? Why cannot India and Australia can have a natural bridge? Why we don't find these organisms there? So finally he concluded like, they have been found on both sides of this coast because Africa and South America were once together, not a separate continent. They separated eventually because of continental drift, but from starting they were not different. And as you can see in the smaller map, this South America and Africa were almost joined. Okay, so I guess you understood this third distribution of organisms. So now, as we have studied all the theories of Alfred Wegener, but I don't see a problem, right? You also, nobody sees a problem. He explained everything very logically. Then why scientific community ridiculed him? Then why he became a pariah, a big joke of the scientific conferences? The thing is, he was unable to explain how it is happening. That means how it is happening. That means the mechanism of this process, the mechanism of continental drift, how my plates are moving and why my plates are moving. Alfred Wegener was unable to explain this. That's why everybody laughed at him that you are saying anything. Okay, whatever comes in your mouth, you just say. And Alfred Wegener died in this vein, then nobody accepted his theory. Eventually, in the early 1960s, when a computer program was created, then only the theory was confirmed. And after the death of Alfred Wegener in the 1930s, he was so much ridiculed that there is a famous British astrophysicist known as Cecilia H. Payne. She was a Brit astrophysicist. Okay. She said that all the stars are made up of hydrogen and helium. We all know that. But at that time, they were thinking, all of the scientific community was convinced that sun and earth are made of same material. Can you believe it? They were convinced that sun and earth contain same material, but Cecilia H. Payne, during her studies, she discovered that they are containing only hydrogen and helium in maximum number. So the advisor and supervisor of Cecilia told her that he said, do you want to end up like Wegener? That means they were using it as an, you can say, to ridicule her, or even in a sense of abuse, that do you want to end up like her? Don't do all this shit. But eventually, when in 1960s, after the 30 years of Alfred Wegener's death in Greenland, in 1960, Sir Edward Buller and two of his intern assistants, when they made a computer program based on the theory of Sir Alfred Wegener, not only the continental fits, they found the continental fit even in the ocean 2000 meters deep. That much continents are fitting, not only on superficial surface level, but in the deep ocean level also they fit. Exactly, they fit. Okay, this 1960 computer program by Sir Edward Bullard, it confirmed the theory of Alfred Wegener of continental drift, and then it got accepted. See, this is one movie also came, Indian movie also came about this, the Nambi effect, how we treat our scientists and how we treat our innovators, how we treat our geophysicists, astrophysicists. This gives a clear-cut explanation of that. 30 years after his death, he accepted he was right. Before that, nobody took his word. Nobody tried to do something regarding it. Okay? So I guess this concept of, for oceanographers specifically, this concept of continental drift and story of Alfred Wegener is clear. So I think this is it for the lecture, and we'll meet another time in next lecture. Okay, till then, bye bye.